What's going on, guys? T2RX6 here, back for another third-party review, and today we're taking a look at the X-transbots Klaatu, and I'm just going to come right out of the box here and say this is my favorite X-transbots thing I've ever got a chance to look at. Obviously we got Cosmos here at the top, and he's got his little base here, which has this awesome abduction type stand piece, so if you have something that fits in there, like say a masterpiece human or like a small ninja turtle, you can go ahead and be abducting something in there. So that's very cool. I will note though that it seems to be a widespread problem, and the base does come in two sizes, so if you want to just have them hovering real low, you can do that too. But anyway, the top here, this peg was a little oblong, so I think widespread you can't really peg them in, it just kind of pops out. I just took a hobby file and just kind of looked for the spot that looked a little oblong and kind of filed it down and went around in a circle a couple times. Every time I did like a lap with the circle, I went ahead and tried to plug it in to see if it worked until I got it to work, and now it works just fine. So only a couple seconds there if you want. Alternatively, and it's pointed out to me that this is, I don't know if you can see it, kind of a crop circle. If you like that type of thing, it's an option. And they gave you this stand here, which just kind of slots in here, and this one works absolutely fine to have that hovering Cosmos, and on a white background it almost looks transparent. He's also got the accessory of his little can of bug spray, and it just pegs right into the stand too. I really like the fact that they've gone ahead and pretty much incorporated almost all the accessories into the stand here. But that's not all you get with him. Inside the bag you also get a pair of translucent light pipe dies if you like that, with a collectible screwdriver. We all love the screwdriver. And you get the plant piece that I remember from the show. I just don't really quite remember the episode it was in, and that just pegs right into one of these little blue pieces on Cosmos. So he's got the little plant trailing out of him. Now I will say Cosmos is a little on the large side. He doesn't come off right out of the box as being a very mini bot. Here's an MP car here, and here's MP Bumblebee in his robot mode for reference. He's a pretty big flying saucer, but once we actually get him transformed, I think he mostly works out. So let's go ahead and do the transformation. Oh, and before we do that, let's actually point out that you can, with a little bit of luck, push these down. And they're really hard to do. They tell you to push at the bottom and get the top to pop open. And we'll need to do that later. Open it up and get some little details. There's like some wires and stuff. Would have been nice if there was some paint and a grate here. Outside of this review, I'll probably never end up opening that up. Anyway, let's go ahead and get this transformed. We take this and rotate it out to the sides here. Come to this piece, fold it all the way open, and you can kind of fold this piece down like that. So do that on both sides, like so. Now this is one of two parts that I think is a little bit tricky on here. I've only transformed this like twice, so I don't know if it's going to loosen up. No, it doesn't feel like it. This is the one thing that I think could have been done a little bit nicer. We've got to slide this piece up here. I think with a little bit of lubrication in the track, it won't be a problem. But it is something to be aware of, that it is a relatively stiff piece. So once we got that out of the way, you can take this and you kind of have to mess with the position here to get this thing to fold back in just like that, to kind of close up Cosmos here. But once it's there, it works just fine. Take this piece, rotate it on in, and this whole like yellow bar assembly kind of squeezes on in to hide away as best you can. Coming back to this piece, take this, fold this on in, and fold it down just like so. That's not terribly elegant, but it gets the job, I'd say, like 90% done. So again, take that, fold it up and fold it down. Fold this piece in, like so. Now we'll go ahead and come to the hand, and unlike the usual MP style, you do more than just opening the top and flipping it around. You flip this, close it all back up. So pretty much the same thing, but just slightly different. So go ahead and do that to this side. There we go. And we got the arms done. So now we'll come to the legs. You want to take these pieces and fold them open, and then this bottom piece comes around like this, and it can be a little tough to do if they separate, but at this point you pretty well can separate the legs if you're having a problem, so it's not a huge issue. So from here, let's get these arms out of the way. We want to open up this panel right here, which is going to let this whole thing kind of fall into place, and rotate it back like that. So we'll do that again. Rotate this, bring this up, rotate it all the way back. Now we got the legs to straighten out here, and once you have that, go ahead and close, like, I guess it's not really the kneecap, it's more like the thigh cap, I guess. But anyway, close that up, take this piece, slide it down, and clip it in place on both sides here. Take this piece, fold it on in, and fold it back just like so. And we pretty well got the feet done. The only thing that we have left to do is to take this piece, kind of fold it out, and this is very, very tight in there. Take it, flip it around, and that gives you the solid green. You can alternatively use the solid green in the spaceship mode if you want. There's nothing that stops you. It just takes away the stripe from his foot. So I was a little bit wrong on this. You do want to do that before you have this whole bottom piece locked in. So bring it around, rotate it, and bring it back up, and peg it all into place. And there we've got our Cosmos here for the most part. Kind of fix up his arms here. Take this back assembly, kind of pop it out, and slide it on up. Not the prettiest looking backpack, but it works. And then this is a problem to me. So you open this up. It would have been nice if you could have just pushed on this and open it, but now you have to take this, open it up, and push this button in here. The only problem is I've never been able to get it by hand. So I always got to use the handy dandy Hale Hasbro tool. We'll use the screwdriver side. Just listen to the force, it's going to come out. I mean, that's kind of ridiculous. We didn't need it to be that tough. So here we've got Cosmos in his robot mode, and he is very weighty. He's got a big die-cast shin down here, so much so he does have a little bit of trouble holding his own weight with his legs, because these are just friction joints on the legs. Forward and back is ratcheted, but side to side is not. So let's go over the articulation on this guy. The head is on a ball joint, but based on the sculpt, you're not going to get a whole bunch of dynamic motion out of it, so it's mostly just left and right. Moving on to the shoulders, based on the way that this kind of hinge goes around, I mean, you can get a pretty good range of motion out of his arm there. It is double jointed, giving you like 90 degrees, though the elbow does look a little bit strange while doing it. The waist here, if you move his backpack out of the way, will go 360. These hip skirts can be moved out of the way, and as you saw, ratcheted forward and back, but friction side to side here. The knee does have a ratchet in it, and it is also double jointed. I'm trying to manipulate it so you guys can see. It is harder to get the upper part of the knee ratchet to work, but hasn't really felt like it's ever been really all that limiting to me. I mean, that's more than enough range of motion out of the leg for me. Coming down here, it feels like he doesn't have any ankle rocker. From what I see, it only like clicks once or twice, so it's not much of an ankle rocker, but he does indeed have an ankle rocker. It's just pretty difficult to manipulate, but it is there. So if we're going to talk about a couple negatives on this thing, the one thing besides some of the stiff joints here, I don't really love the way the backpack is. I do wish it compressed a little more. I think the Toy World one does more elegantly do the backpack, and they might do a slightly better face, but not enough so that I feel like I'm kind of got the wrong one with this guy. I do prefer the space shuttle mode on this guy. I think this part's just too tall on the Toy World one, and I don't really like the proportions. Now this guy is a little bit taller than the Toy World, so that's something to be aware of. If you want a smaller Cosmos next to the Mini-Bots, he is a little bit on the big side. Here's Optimus Prime and Bumblebee, obviously. And for a quick reference, here he is next to a Carbot. Now, I don't know how your sensibilities are. I can tell you for mine, as long as the Mini-Bot is smaller than your Carbot, I'm okay with it. So the fact that he is a bigger Mini-Bot doesn't really bother me. Bumblebee's supposed to be the smallest of the Autobots, I guess next to Wheelie. So it doesn't bother me that the size is different. If this bothers you, the Toy World one does scale just slightly smaller. And MMC has one that's coming that honestly looks really good, but this one dropped as a pre-order like the same day that the MMC one was announced. So that's kind of poor planning on the Ocular Max line, if you ask me. So if you want him to hold his little can of bug spray, because that's the only accessory he's got, you can take his finger here and just kind of slot the thumb into the bug spray like this, and then close the hand around it. And I mean, it works. You lose the thumb, gripping something like this, but I don't think that it necessarily looks terrible that way. Also, quick note, if you do put the alternate eyepieces, this will be where your light piping is, but it's just such a small slot. Historically speaking, blue doesn't really light pipe as well as people seem to think it does. So the metallic eyes to me are just the way to go in this case. So honestly, where X-transbots is concerned, he's a great Mini-Bot. He's a lot of fun. I don't see any stress marks that look like they're developing anywhere on here. The metallic-y flake in the plastic gives it a more premium feel, even though he doesn't have a whole ton of paint on him. It just kind of works for me, for the character. I don't feel like I was ripped off at all in this case, not like this guy where screws and stuff fell out of the toy. This is really well done. So we're going to go ahead and transform Cosmos back to his vehicle mode. Now, we're not going to flip these around because I just want to show you that it'll still work that way. Obviously, if you wanted to switch it, you want to pull them around and flip them. But we'll start by bringing these pieces down and bring them forward, just like so. Now take these, bring them open, flip up this piece, and bring it up like that. Just like so. And I forgot to flip that piece, and there we go. Lie him down, basically. Make sure that your ankle rocker is in place. And you can go ahead and clip this together to make everything a little bit easier. You can open up these panels, though. They'll kind of do that on their own when you're getting them into position here. Just like that. We can now close these up, make sure that they peg into those little tabs there. And then you basically want to, I don't think you need to do the hip skirts, I'm just doing it anyway. Take him and sit him down almost entirely. So you should see the front of the robot kind of come together like that. We can go ahead and spring load his head back into place there. From here, we'll go ahead and we'll do the back, bring this down, and then slide it on its joint into place here. Just like that. Slides underneath. So next you're going to want to take these pieces and bring them back, and they can end up being just a little bit tricky because sometimes these little flaps here will catch on this back piece of spaceship. So make sure you do have it clearing it, and they have to be all the way back really to clear it. But you can fold it up and peg all that together. So from here, we're going to go ahead and deal with these little pieces just to complete that on both sides. So coming to the hand, I'm not gonna lie, I tend to get this one confused. We'll see if I do it right this time. I believe that you want the blasters to look like they're under his hand here, and then flip this around and in place. If you do it any other way, it doesn't close up. So that was right. So we got that. That arm is pretty well ready to go. So we'll do that one more time on this side. Open it, bottom of your hand towards the blaster. Flip that around, and there we go. That arm is ready to go. So now we can take this, and this, I just say be a little bit careful of with pulling out that little joint there. There we go. Loosen that. Open up this piece here. Flip that up. Again, open it and flip it up. From here, make sure that your green is arranged properly and slide it down in place on both sides. Just like so. And now we can take this, close it back up, close it, and then fold all of this assembly forward, and it will peg in a couple different spots. On both sides here. There we go. There we go. Just final little push everything together, make sure it's in position. I will say this panel does have this tendency not to hold very well for me, but I don't think that it's all that noticeable personally, and once I've manipulated enough times it just stays there. So yeah, this is a really good Cosmos. I really enjoy it. I don't regret not getting the Toy World. Again, I didn't like the overall size of I guess the bridge or whatever it would be of this flying saucer. It's really good. This is by far the best X-transbots thing I've messed with. The box actually gives a little teaser that we might be getting the skids coming. It looks like he comes with a little motorcycle. That'll be interesting to see. Yeah, if it's as good as this, I am totally down. So this is T2RX6. I hope you guys enjoyed the review, and I'll see you next time. Hey guys, just want to throw out there, I'll be at TFCon in DC at the end of September here, so if you're watching this and it's October, I don't know. I may not be at the next TFCon. I don't even know if there's going to be another TFCon. I have no clue. But if you're going to this TFCon this next week, leave a comment in the comment section below. Let me know you're going to be there. Hopefully I can meet some of you that I haven't seen. I know a lot of people I have seen are going to be there, so I'm really looking forward to it. But yeah, I just want to throw it out there. Some of you don't even know what I look like. Here I am. So hopefully I see you at TFCon in DC. I'll see you later.